a horror anthology series where each episode features a complete original story written by master of horror Stephen King, and today we have a very special treat. We are premiering the first episode, The Blair Witch Project. It's been 25 years since the release of The Blair Witch Project. I can't believe it. I remember being so scared that my parents wouldn't let me see it when it first came out because they thought it was a real documentary. I had to wait till I was like 16 and then I snuck into the theater by myself. But now there's a new story set in the same universe, told in the style of the same mock documentary. So this is a love letter to that movie and everything that made it scary. Our story begins with our protagonist, Rachel Kessler, who is a vlogger much like James when in the beginning of the found footage movie. And just like James, she's kind of a skeptic, someone who makes videos about ghosts and cryptids just for clout. Now, her channel is called Fear Factor, and it's about paranormal investigation, but it hasn't gained any traction. In fact, it's getting worse. In the latest video, she and her friend Ben investigate the insane asylum from American Horror Story Asylum. But even though the video got a ton of views, all the comments were about how obvious it was that it was fake. Rachel's channel has reached its peak and she needs to do something big or risk losing everything. And that's when she decides to go to Burkittsville, Maryland to investigate the legend of the Blair Witch, and yes, the entire town still thinks she's crazy. As they drive deeper into the woods, their car gets stuck and they have to start hiking. Then all their electronics start dying and they lose service. When they arrive at the clearing, it looks just like in the original, the trees in a circle with one missing, except for one tiny detail. There's a small statue of the Blair Witch in the middle, a witch holding a knife and a cloak covering her face. And the whole thing is surrounded by dozens of red roses. At the edge of the clearing is a wooden box with a lock on it. The hikers check the box, but it doesn't open until midnight. At 11:58 p.m., they start hearing whispering voices coming from the woods. And at precisely midnight, the box opens revealing a VHS tape. They take the tape out and rush to play it on the boombox that James brought with him. And what they see shocks them. It's Heather Donahue from the original Blair Witch Project. And she says there's a ritual that must be performed under the full moon. If they don't do it, whatever's in the box will find them. Before they know it, the leaves outside are rustling and moving around without any wind. And then a cloaked figure comes running at them, wielding a meat cleaver. They run away screaming, and that's when things really get wild. They start hearing whispers everywhere, taunting them and telling them to run. James drops his bag and starts running blindly into the woods. Rachel runs after him calling his name, but she can't find him anywhere. Then she hears a voice calling her name, and you know what? I'm not gonna tell you what happens next. You're just gonna have to watch the rest of the episode yourself. But let me tell you, if you think the original Blair Witch Project is scary, this sequel will blow your mind. As I was writing this story, I wanted to pay homage to the original while also bringing something new to the table. The Blair Witch Project is scary because it's realistic. There's no supernatural elements, no demons, no ghosts. It's just a bunch of kids lost in the woods and their worst fears manifesting in their minds. So I wanted to do the same thing here, make a story that could plausibly happen to anyone. What would you do if you accidentally stumbled into a place that was harvesting your fear? How long would you last? This is a story that asks those questions, but ultimately it's a story about addiction. Our protagonist, Rachel, just like our main character in the original, is addicted to the chase. She doesn't care about the Blair Witch. She just wants to be the first person to find her. And when she does, it consumes her. I hope you enjoy watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. And now I want to turn things over to our director, who's here to talk about how he brought this vision to life. Let's talk about the evolution of the story. Did you come to the project with a certain type of vision? Coming on board to direct an episode of a horror anthology series was a dream come true. And once I read The Blair Witch Project and saw the direction the series was going, I knew I wanted to go all in on practical effects and creating a sense of dread and uneasiness. To achieve this, I shot on film to pay homage to the original Blair Witch, which was also shot on film. I knew that the audience would be expecting a modern high-tech found footage style movie, so I wanted to surprise them by going old school. It forced us to be more intentional with our shots and made the whole process feel more like a real investigation. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced in production? Because we shot on film, we couldn't do multiple takes. We only had one chance to get each shot right, which added a layer of intensity to every scene. On top of that, our lead actress had to learn how to properly use vintage cameras and audio equipment. Luckily, she took to it like a natural and was able to really sell the authenticity of the found footage. Can you walk us through some of the more intense or disturbing scenes you had to shoot? There was one scene in particular that I didn't think we'd be able to pull off, the part where Rachel finds the statue in the clearing. We had to build the statue from scratch, and it ended up being this huge, creepy figure looming over our characters. When our camera operator put the camera down to look at the statue, I honestly thought we had captured something truly unsettling. Do you have a favorite moment or scene from the finished product? My favorite part of the final cut is the ending. I think we did such a good job building suspense throughout the whole movie that when everything is revealed, it's truly shocking. What's next for you? I am currently in pre-production for my feature directorial debut, a psychological horror film based on a true story. It's been my dream to direct a feature-length film ever since I was a kid, so I'm really excited to finally be making that dream a reality. That concludes our chat with the director, but before we go, I want to thank the cast and crew for bringing this story to life. And a special thanks to our amazing editor who spent countless hours putting this all together. Also, I want to thank our amazing composer who created a score that'll make you question your sanity. And of course, I have to give a big shout out to the amazing people who helped us create this world. Without their help, none of this would have been possible. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more terrifying tales. And hey, if you dare, watch this episode alone in the dark. Just remember, whatever you do, don't click away. If you do, you might just unleash something you can't control. So stay with us until the end. Your fear is our fuel. Thanks for watching.